Hey guys, I'm so excited to be sharing my very first collab video with you today. It's called the Lawn Fawn Lovers Collab, and it's going to be a monthly collaboration with several other YouTubers. The videos will post the fourth Saturday of each month, so be sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun. And I'll also provide links for everyone else's channels below in the description box, so you can go check them out and show them some support and love as well. Each month will have a different theme, and the only requirement for your project is that you use at least one Lawn Fawn product. And that will be absolutely no problem for me because I love Lawn Fawn and I have so many of their stamps and dies and papers, etc. So I'm really looking forward to this. This month's theme is winter, and I'm just going to share with you what I used in my card, and then I will show you the process video. So I used this Watercolor Wishes 6x6 paper pad. For dies, I used the largest of the small stitch rectangle dies. I also used this die from the Stitched Hillside Borders. I used two of the simple puffy cloud frame dies. The stamps I used are, I used the Winter Sparrows. I used these three little guys and their coordinating dies. I used Critters in the Forest. I used the little fox, the tree, and I also colored and die cut the little raccoon, but I ended up not using him, so I'll just use him in another project. I also used this sweet little bunny from the Hello Baby set and used his coordinating die. And then for my sentiment, I just used Happy Winter from the Critters in the Snow set. So that I used so many different stamp sets in this project, but that's one of the things I love about Lawn Fawn is so many of their stamp sets coordinate all the little critters and the scene building items. So I'll just quit rambling now and go ahead and get to the process video. So I'm just going to get started by creating a standard A2 size card base using some white cardstock. And then I'm going to use one of those small stitch rectangle dies to cut out a piece of the paper from the paper pad, and I'll adhere that to the card base. Then I'm going to use the same die to cut out a piece of white cardstock, and then used a hillside border die to make my snowbanks. And I cut it out first with the rectangle die so I would have the same stitched edges along the bottom and the sides. So I'll just trim off the extra there and adhere those down. Next I'm going to bring in my Misty, and I'm going to take the three little birds from the Winter Sparrows stamp set, and I'll ink those up with some VersaFine ink. And I think I do that a couple times just to make sure I have a good image. Then I'm going to take some clear embossing powder and heat emboss those to make it easier for coloring, because I'm going to use my Zig Clean Color Roll Brush Markers to color all my images today. Heat set those. And then for the little birds, I'm going to use 031 Cobalt Blue. I just add color and then just blend it out with my water brush. For the little beaks, I'll be using 050 Yellow. And then for their little accessories, their hats and scarves, I'm using 021 Light Carmine and 045 Pale Green. And I'm just adding a little bit of color and then blending that out. Really simple. There's several ways you can use these markers, but this is the simplest and easiest way, just to add some color and blend it out with a water brush. So I'm taking some other stamps from Critters in the Forest and Hello Baby, and I'm stamping those up with some VersaFine ink as well, and I'm going to heat emboss those with some clear embossing powder. And I end up not using the little raccoon in my card, but so for the little bunny, I'm going to use 065 mid brown, again just adding some color along the edges and blending that out, and 064 oatmeal for his little tail. And I cut out the footage of me coloring the raccoon because I didn't use him. I'll just save him for another project. So for the little fox, I'm using 060 brown and 064 oatmeal for his little tail. And I keep going back in and adding more color because it's not getting as dark as I'd like it. So that's one of the good things about these markers. You can just add more, add more. The only thing you need to be careful sometimes if, depending on the type of paper you're using, not get it too saturated. For my images today, my stamped images today, I used Bristol Smooth cardstock, and it works really well with these markers. And you'll notice I keep dabbing some of the water off to keep that from getting too saturated. So I'm going to take my little Sizzix Sidekick that I just got and I'm loving, and I'm going to die cut my little images here. I'm going to secure the dies with some micropore tape, and I run it through, and my little bunny was sticking out the end because he was too long to fit between the plates, so I just have to run him through again. I'll pop out all my little images. So now I'm going to take the tree from the Critters in the Forest stamp set and also use VersaFine ink for that, as well as clear embossing powder. And I use 044 deep green to color this. And I don't know why I really took much time with this at all, because I end up covering it up with some snow later, and I'll show you that. But I just put darker color underneath where the layers where I thought there would be shadows. I'm still learning about shading and everything. I'm by far no expert, so but just do what you think looks good, and there's plenty of colorists who do such a good job with this. And Christy gets crafty. She is really good at coloring, so if you're looking for somebody to show you how to color, go visit her channel. I might link it below so you can see that. But for the trunk of the tree, I took 065 mid brown, and here I'm taking a little finger dauber and dabbing some Versamark ink on the image, and then I'm going to heat emboss that with some white embossing powder to make it look like snow. And I kind of got more than I meant to on there, but it turned out okay, and I went ahead and die cut that. And then I realized that I hadn't die cut the little bird, so I'll go ahead and do that. And run those through my Sidekick. Okay, now I'm going to die cut some of the simple puffy cloud frames. And there's two parts to each of these die cuts. I'm going to take the little frames and I'm going to color those with some 036 light blue. And then I'm going to spritz a little bit of water on those to lighten that color up a little bit and dab off the extra moisture. So now I'm going to take my card base and I'm going to stamp my sentiment, Hello Winter. It's a stamp from the Critters in the Snow stamp set, I believe. And I also heat emboss that with clear embossing powder. And then I'm just going to start adhering all my little images down. And I'm using Aleene's Tacky Glue for this. Still trying to find a good liquid adhesive that I like. I've had several recommendations for art glitter glue, so I want to give that a try. Aleene's is working pretty good though. I've used it years ago and it seems to be doing pretty well. So I'll just take my Zig glue pen to adhere the little clouds down. And then I'm going to take some Wink of Stella to give the clouds a little bit of shimmer. And then I'm going to take some foam dots and pop up the little birdies. And some of them I have to cut in half to make them fit on the little birds. I'm going to put 2 of the little birds in the tree. And then one is going to be popped up on the little fox's head. I love Lawn Fawn's little critter stamps. They are so cute, and they all work so well together. So after I get this done, I'm going to bring in some little, I'm not sure if they're supposed to be sequins or glitter, but I found these at the Target dollar spot, and I'm just going to apply some of those randomly with some glossy accents. Sorry, I'm a little bit off camera here, but I'm just going to apply some of those using my quick stick. Makes things a little easier, and it's little tiny small objects. And I think that about does it for this card. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss anything. And I will be back soon with another video. And I really appreciate you watching. Oh, and be sure on February 24th to come back for another Lawn Fawn collab video too. So, bye!